Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project bringing you a coronavirus update on Saturday, March 7th at 10 p.m. Mountain Time. U.S. coronavirus cases top 400 as outbreak grows on a cruise ship, in a nursing home, and near New York. As we check the COVID-19 info live, we can see cases in the U.S. now topping 439, 17 deaths with a 3.9 death rate. 54 cases in Canada. And if we look at Europe, 552 in Spain, 949 in France, 800 in Germany, and 7,000 plus in South Korea. Keep calm and wash your hands. Be safe out there. Coronavirus live updates. Italy locks down much of its north as Europe's outbreak worsens. 16 million under mandatory quarantine in Milan. Italy is locking down much of the north, its economic engine. New York State declares an emergency and cases rise to 89. Attendee of a conservative conference, CPAC, where Trump and Pence spoke, test positive. The U.S. count passes 400 with trouble spots on a cruise ship off California. And now, just an hour ago, a third cruise ship under investigation. Where will it go from here? Pence says U.S. tracking a third cruise ship over the coronavirus concerns, where half of the crew is over on a different ship now, where 19 of the crew of the Diamond Princess tested positive. Florida reports the first deaths on the East Coast, 2 of them, an elderly couple in their 70s recently returning from overseas. And D.C. is under lockdown.
The governor has declared a state of emergency with now at least 89 coronavirus cases, a 50% jump overnight. The governor with strong words for the CDC. And tonight we're learning one of those infected in New York is an Uber driver. This as some professional sports teams are assessing how they move forward when it comes to fan participation. Here's ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
Tonight, a state of emergency declared in New York as the coronavirus spreads across the country. The number of confirmed cases soaring to at least 89 statewide. 11 in New York City, including an Uber driver, a man in his 30s hospitalized in Queens. Plus, 23 new cases confirmed in a suburb outside New York City, about half of them linked to an attorney who frequently traveled through Grand Central Terminal. The governor blasting the federal government, claiming the state isn't getting enough money to fight the virus and there aren't enough tests.
CDC was caught flat-footed. I believe they're slow in their response, and I believe they're slowing down the state.
This as Florida reports the first 2 deaths on the East Coast, a man and a woman, both victims in their 70s with recent overseas travel. One of them from the district Congressman Matt Gaetz represents, who earlier this week wore a gas mask on the House floor. Tonight, Gaetz releasing a statement expressing sadness about the death, urging people to take the necessary precautions to minimize your exposure. People seen taking extra precaution. New video shows a Costco worker in Tampa wiping down shopping cart handles as customers enter the store.
I'd like the handle for you real quick.
Nationwide, at least 29 states have COVID-19 infections, with new cases in California, Oregon, and the first case of community spread in Nebraska. The NBA tonight telling teams to plan for the possibility of playing.
Oh, God, who could care less about the NBA when a pandemic is spreading? Now, did you see the guy wiping down people's carts here? So he doesn't have a mask. He has no protection, but he's going to wipe down your cart to save you.
Costco worker in Tampa wiping down.
Are you kidding me? This is how pathetic the protocol is. This is how pathetic. Not only that, a quarantine center in China, probably an underused hotel that had never been inspected, collapses because they put too many quarantine people in there, all getting smashed and squirting out more coronavirus from the building. It's absolutely a shit show.
Crisis overseas, a hotel in southeastern China collapsing, used as a quarantine location for people who had contact with coronavirus patients, at least 70 people trapped. Here's ABC's Jennifer Eccleston.
Tonight, rescue teams in China scrambling to free 70 people trapped inside a hotel used as a coronavirus quarantine center after the structure suddenly collapsed. The 5-story building in Guangzhou flattened. Hundreds of emergency workers searching the wreckage for the missing. Officials say dozens already pulled to safety. Officials now investigating the cause. Also tonight, the escalating contagion and more American tourists trapped by the virus. Officials spraying a hotel in Bethlehem where 14 Americans are under quarantine. More U.S. tourists in lockdown on a cruise ship on the Nile River in Egypt. Authorities there saying 45 people tested positive for COVID-19. And more measures to contain community spread in Italy. Now with over 4,600 cases, Europe's deadliest hotspot. The Vatican moving the Pope's Sunday Angelus prayer and his Wednesday audience inside and off limits to the public. Only available to the faithful by live stream. Vatican City now reporting its first case of coronavirus, and in Naples, an American sailor testing positive, the first case of a U.S. service member in Europe. Tom?
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel.
George.
If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live.
I tried to get rid of him. Sorry. So what we're seeing here, now Italy plans to lock down Milan as well as other areas. What we're seeing here is a absolute dropping the ball everywhere. The Pope, did you see him there coughing? The president and vice president coming in contact with probably people that are infected. This is going to unwind in a very poor way as we move forward. As you can imagine, in the coming weeks, officials in government, medical staff, all going to be coming sick, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. So let's talk about the lockdown in the Milan area in an effort to contain the coronavirus, which you cannot contain a virus which can be spread asymptomatically, by the way. And the WHO and the CDC have dropped the ball completely, as Governor Cuomo said, and many others, including Diamond at the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Let's go over the new rules. They include telling people not to enter or leave Lombardy, which is home to 10 million people, as well as 11 provinces, so that they spread it all around within there and create a supercell. Totally amazing how that works. The head of the Civil Protection Agency said Saturday the decree would be a complete waste of time and actually spread the virus through community spread in a tighter area. So this is just a shit show that we're watching unravel. Now, there is some good news. Lobster market prices pinched, and they plummet by half, and they should go down to $10 a pound. So eat your lobster as you get cheaper and cheaper gas. The Dow dropped. Oil drops to a 3-year low. We're talking $2 gas coming soon. So we won't be able to plan trips, but we're going to save some money at the pump. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, coming from the mainstream, they're saying that coronavirus mutations is much ado about nothing. It doesn't matter that it's mutating. You're completely fine. Except a statement by a quarantine nurse from Northern California Kaiser facility begs to differ. March 5th, 2020. And I quote, "As a nurse, I'm very concerned that not enough is being done to stop the spread of the coronavirus. I know because I'm currently sick and in quarantine after caring for a patient who tested positive. I'm awaiting permission, quote unquote, from the federal government to allow for my testing, even after my physician and county health professional ordered it. I volunteered to be on the care team for a patient who tested positive for coronavirus. I did this because I had the recommended protective gear." Let me repeat that. She had the recommended protective gear and training from her employer. She did this assuming that if something were to happen to her, of course, they too would be cared for. And it was a small concern. After a few days of caring for this patient, they became sick. Now, this nurse got sick, and they did not get tested. And this is ridiculous. The public county officer called me and verified the symptoms and agreed with testing, but the National Centers for Disease Control would not initiate testing. They said they would not test me because if I were wearing the recommended protective equipment, then I would not have the coronavirus. What kind of science-based answer is that? What a ridiculous and uneducated response from the very departments that are in charge of health for this country. And that's what we're dealing with. A quagmire of conceptual complexities, iniquities, and idiots. And the National Nurses United response to COVID-19 is basically, if you do not protect the healthcare workers, well, who are you protecting? Apparently no one. As they let this disease spread worldwide, in just 2 weeks, it will be in every country, in every corner of the world. 147 cases in Norway, doubled in 24 hours. What do you think is going to happen over the coming weeks? Are you prepared? It's time to keep calm. Wash your hands. Stay out of groups. Stay inside. Start reading. Be prepared, not scared, for what's coming. As the markets collapse, your future becomes bleaker every day. Learn how to survive and thrive in the coming times. Rise to the occasion. It's only just beginning. And we wish nothing the best for each and every one listening to this podcast. If you're in a major city, you are at much greater risk than someone in a rural area. If you're healthy, you're probably at no risk at all. But it's the elderly and your loved ones that are older or sick that you should be worried about. And you don't want to get them sick. So do everything in your power to stay healthy and safe and prepare for a lockdown. You need at least 14 days of food on hand because that's how long they will quarantine you. Please share this video with like-minded people. The purpose of these updates is to inform you on all the news so that you don't have to spend time looking for it. We hope you're all prepared and not scared, and living and thriving. Be safe. We love you.